Now we're going to look at safe ways and unsafe ways to remove items from an array list. So I've got here an array list of names. There are some 3-letter names in the list, and what I want to do is remove them. And I've also got some code just to print out the names so we can see whether or not it's worked. So the first thing I might attempt to do, and this is the wrong way of doing it, so I'm going to tell you it's wrong so you don't learn it, but I want you to know that it is the wrong way of doing it, is I might create a standard for each loop. So I might say a string name in names, and then I could say if name dot length is equal to 3, then we might say names dot remove, and we'll remove the name. Okay, so you might think that would work. Let's run it and find out what happens. Okay, so we have got an exception being thrown. And it says here, exception in thread main, java.util.concurrent modification exception. Okay, and that's basically Java saying, well, you can't modify this list while you're iterating through it, while you're going over it in this particular manner with a for loop. It's not allowed. Okay, so we can't do that. Java just simply won't let us. So you might think, okay, how do we get around that? So the next thing you might try, again, this is not right, but what you might try and do is think, well, we'll use a for I loop and we'll do it by index. So that might look something like this. We might say while I is 0, while I is greater than names dot size. And then we need our check. We might say if names I, which was a string dot what's that? Sorry, no, not names I. That's the array. That's the array syntax. We'll say names dot get I. That will get us a string, and is its size? Let's simplify actually, just to make it easy to read. So we might say string name equals names dot get I, and we can say name dot length is equal to 3. Then we could say names dot remove, passing the index, which is I, and hey presto, it should work. So let's try that. It hasn't crashed, but if we look in the list, there's still a 3-letter name. And you might think, well, how's that happened? Okay, and if we actually look at our list of names and we imagine what's going on, we're getting Andrew out with the value of using I as 0. It's not 3 letters, so we continue. Eventually we get to Rob. Okay, Rob has got an index of 0, 1, 2, 3. So we check it, we get Rob, it is 3. So we call names.remove 3. That removes Rob from the list. At this point, this is now gone. Jim gets an index of 3. We go to the start of our loop, I is incremented to 4. So we've just jumped past Jim, and Jim's here. So this approach isn't going to work either. Okay, and we don't know how many names could have 3 in a row, so it's not like we could say, we could put the statement again, you know, if names.length I is equal to 3, and try and do the same thing again. But that's not going to work. So this solution is flawed as well. Okay, you would probably find that it works backwards, but actually if we went backwards through our list, but actually the only recommended way to remove items from a list while we go through it is to use something called an iterator. So I'm going to get rid of this code. And we can get our iterator directly from our array list. So I'm going to say iterator, and I'm going to come back and change this in a second. I'm going to import it. So we've imported java.util.iterator. I'm going to call it names iterator. And I'm just going to assign that the value that comes from asking my names for its iterator. So I can just do names.iterator. And then what I can do is use a while loop, and I can say while my names iterator has another item, okay? And then we write code inside as well. So this is a standard while loop. The condition is that the names iterator has another value, okay? And then while it does, we can then query it. So we can get the next item. Now if I say string name equals, and I can ask the names iterator for the next name. So I can say names iterator dot next, but we're going to run into a problem here. Okay, and this problem is that it says we're giving it an object, but the type is string. Okay, well, we know that the names array list is an array list of string, but we also have to tell our iterator that it is iterating over strings. So unless we do that, we're going to get this problem with object. So it's an iterator of strings, and it's our names iterator. So now I've got the name while iterating through it. I can say if name dot length is equal to 3, and then to remove it, I can ask my names iterator to remove it. So I can say names iterator dot remove, and I don't, because we're inside an iterator, I don't have to pass it a value. The iterator knows exactly where it is in the collection. So when I've done next, it knows that I am at that particular position. So if I say remove, it will remove the item at that position. If I run this code now, okay, we will see that it has removed all of the 3-letter names from the list. Okay. In short, the thing to remember is if you need to work through a collection, such as an array list, in order that you want to remove things as you go through that collection, the only prescribed, suggested way of doing so is to use an iterator, and that's what we've done there.